Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a cryptic crossword from the Daily Mail. This is Monday the 12th of May and this is a reasonable crossword for a relative beginner, or at least should be. Yesterday's was okay, the 10th we had a couple of problems with, so let's get into it, see what we get to today. Garden seat designed for dogs. So the key thing with a cryptic crossword is each of the clues is likely to have two clues in one. You'll have a straightforward definition and then you're likely to have some piece of probably wordplay, but potentially a second definition. So let's see what we've got here. Garden seat designed for dogs. So garden seat, I note, is 10 letters long and we're looking for two words with 10 letters, 5 and 5. The word designed here could be an anagram indicator. So with this clue, I imagine we're looking for two words, each 5 letters, that means dogs or is synonymous with dogs. That is an anagram of garden seats. So if that's the case, dogs is plural, so it seems reasonably likely we'd end up with an S at the end. What could we do? I'm not seeing it, so we might have to come back to that one. I do see nothing holds a fastener. Now that one there. So here our definition is fastener, and nothing could be the word nil, and that word is going to hold the letter A. So if we put that inside of it, we get nail, and a nail is a fastener. So that is a good example of what we were just talking about. Odd seaman with girl on lake. Odd seaman. With girl on lake. Not seeing that. Journalist provided with cool building. So here, I imagine we've got a word for journalist that's going around a word. It's provided with a word meaning cool. We've got an I here, so I do wonder if cool could be ice or icy. No, I'm not seeing it. Bishop's warning about a Canadian province. So bishop in chess notation could be the letter B. Will I just get a B in the Oxford English Dictionary? Bachelor. As you can see, there's a lot of different. I'm not seeing bishop in there, but what if we go for bishop? Bishop chess notation. So here, for example, the letter B here is indicating bishop and where it's moving. So that we got there eventually demonstrates that. Bishop's warning. A warning would be about a Canadian province. I'm imagining that I want a 5-letter word for a warning that goes around, about, if you will, the letter A. Bishop's warning. Is there a word that could mean a bishop's warning, but that feels too specific? Alarm, but that's already got a lot of A's in it. You can't fit any more in there, can you? What Canadian provinces are there? Quebec? Ontario? British Columbia? Okay, what if instead it's a word for a warning that goes about a Canadian province like British Columbia. Alcom. I'm not seeing that either. A very auspicious start. Profound philosophers first, seen by river. So philosophers first could be the first letter of philosopher as our first piece of wordplay. If that's the case, then we'd be looking for a river to be seen by it, to be next to it, that would mean profound. I know from the crossword 2 days ago that the River Ure in Yorkshire exists. Profound. Is pure a synonym for profound? A pure thought, a profound thought. I don't know if I'd say that it's synonymous, but maybe it is. Standard deviation. In tricky ads. Tricky ads is 9 letters, and if you deviate, so it deviates, it moves around, so moves from the, deviate from the path, move from the path, so anagram of tricky ads, meaning standard. Yardstick. It's getting stuck on the Y, I think it would go at the end. Okay. So profound philosophers first, seen by river. Okay. So I was right with philosophers first, but actually I was being too constrained and saying it needed to go at the start. The river D followed by P gives us deep. Profound and deep feels a lot better. Part of roof. Beginning to break. In high wind. High wind. Part of roof could be the pitch, the slate, could just be part of the word roof. Beginning to break could easily just be the first 3 letters to give us that E. And then part of roof could be like the R and the O. I don't think that's a word, but certainly possible. Bishop's warning. I had an A in there a minute ago. I was playing with alarm, didn't I? So Alberta. That is a Canadian province, isn't it? Bishop's warning. Alert. Okay, so bishop with warning about bishop. And then the A gives a Canadian province. Okay, we got there. And actually, beginning to break, B could be BRE. High wind. Some fearless nobleman. So the word some here immediately makes me think that this could be a hidden, taking part of, well, it's only 3 words, so part of part of the word fearless to get a nobleman. Actually, I can see that we've got earl in there, so that feels sensible. Vagrants given transport to outskirts of Paris. Outskirts of Paris. So as a surface clue, this reads like just like a sentence. It's sending some homeless people to the outskirts of the city. He's sending them out of the city, sending it into the city. Don't know, but in actual fact, outskirts of Paris. The first and last letter would be the outskirts of that word. And having that there, I can see that we could put tram in to get tramps, which would be vagrants. And tram is transport, so that feels sensible. Garden seat, Great Danes. That's our anagram. Ooh. Okay, so this feels like gable, part of roof. Part of roof would be a gable. Beginning to break in high wind. Gable. But why? Gable is a part of a roof, I'm sure. On a roof, so yeah, part of a roof. Beginning to break. B in high wind, in a gale. There we go. In France, you read Italian. The word you in France would be to. Read. In France, the word read is lire, I think, as in the root of the word library. You read, you study, you learn. I think I like the 2. I don't think I like that. I'm imagining this is a word for an Italian, so probably like someone who lives in a specific city, like a Torina, or someone who lives in Turin. Cambridge, eccentric. Losing mail. Budgerigar, for example. So eccentric could be an anagram indicator. Cambridge has 9 letters. But what if it loses male? Male can be M. Male, female, MF. In which case we've got 8 letters. CA bridge. Hard. Cambridge budgerigar. It's a bird of some sort. Okay, let's assume that bird works. We've got C-A, cage bird. There we go. Leo, for example. Leo. It's topical. Name of the new pope, isn't it? Feels too topical for that. Leo's a star sign. Could Leo as a star sign be L? For example, could be EG could be short for that, or a lady. What if we had, or can L be an? No, that doesn't feel right. Oh, the L there, by the way, would work for like would work for Lear. So we can get something else. Flyer going round. Old vessel. Vessel. So here, going round, I'm imagining we've got a 3-letter word for a flyer, and that's going to go round the letter O that means old and give us some sort of vessel. That might be a boat. It is just the word boat, because a bat is a flyer. Bats fly, and O goes round it. Okay, sorry, that goes around O. Teacher not about to waffle. Not about. Of note, not about is 8 letters and has a B and a T. I don't think I can see that being an anagram. To waffle. If you waffle, you go on and on. I think I'm stretching the meaning of the word waffle there to get an anagram indicator. Teacher. Bishop. So we had bishop earlier for B. If something is correct, then it is right. Put those together, we get bright, which does mean smart, so that feels good. Shopkeeper, we hear, being more offensive. So if you've got those 2 words for shopkeeper, that old words for shopkeeper that can come up in kind of conversation. So, you know, you've got your fishmonger and you've got your greengrocer. Now, if you are being grosser, then you are being more offensive. So the word we hear there is a homophone indicator. And actually, because the homophone indicator is in the middle, either one of these could be the definition or could be the homophone. Now, I don't think it's grocer because it's only 6 letters. So, by process of elimination, being more offensive has to be our definition. Shopkeeper, we hear, is going to be our wordplay. Ferry port. Gets rid of last bird. Port. So this could be a word for a ferry. That if you've got a 5-letter name of a port, Sligo, for example, bad example. Dover, for example, and you get rid of the last bird, the last letter of bird, Dover would become over, which, well, nearly works. It's 4 letters, but it's got an O, but it's not in the right place. So I wonder if that could be that. Ferry. Port gets rid of last bird. What could a ferry be? Boat. We've already got the word boat in as an answer. It can't be boat. A service revolution. In part of India. Okay. I want to say Assai. So here, A, we've got the letter A there, and then the SAS is a military service. Revolution could be indicate that you're, well, maybe not anagramming it, but you're moving a letter. So SAS, if you're taking the last letter and moving it to the front, revolving it round, cycling it. Revolution, yeah, either way, kind of an anagram. SSA, and I'm sure that a Sai is a place in India. I think it comes up in one of the early Sharp books. I think Wellington. It's where Sharp so where Wellington gets knocked off a horse, and Sharp originally gets made either a sergeant or becomes an officer. Compassion we hear for male deer. Compassion. Again, we hear, probably a homophone indicator. Male deer. Stag. Buck. Stag. Compassion. Show compassionate you. Pity, mercy. Full step. Error made by journalists. It's 9 letters, and if those 2 words are in error, full step, then that could be an anagram. No, because we've got an R down here and there's no R. Although error made is also 9 letters and has an R. Error made by journalists. False step. I haven't really justified the I on that, have I? A service revolution. And I doesn't feel good at the end of a word. I'm not sure about that. Conventional mother bathing. Perhaps. Something is conventional, it's the norm, the standard. Perhaps could be an anagram indicator. Bathing is 7 letters. Mother could be mum. Mars. Mars 2, Mars with an S. I'm not liking that. What have we got? It proves playing is playful. It proves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Both playing and playful feel like they could be anagram indicators, and both of them are 7 letters. So we've got the word is there, which means either way that's 7 or 9, so that doesn't work. So that makes me think that it proves is going to be playing, is going to be an anagram, and that's going to mean playful. It proves. What could we do there? Sportive. Does that work? Is sportive a word? S-P-O-T. Feels reasonable, other than the fact I've never heard sportive being a word. Sporty. But sportive. Odd Seaman. With girl on lake. Just seeing if I can make that fit with an R. It proves playing is playful. And with a P there, you're limited. Playful sounds like an adjective, and sporty sounds like it could be an adjective. It's not completely ridiculous. Terrible ordeal in Texas City. This feels to me like it's an anagram of ordeal. That makes a city in Texas. What could that be? What the city in Texas? Austin, San Antonio maybe? Houston, Dallas. Eldora? Dorial? There is a city somewhere called Dorial, isn't there? Trump has a golf course. I think that's in Florida though. Could there be 2 Dorials? There's a Springfield in every state. Compassion. How many words can there be for a male deer? Stag, buck. Tact. Not really compassion, is it? Compassion. I'm not sure. We've got this one here. We've seen it, haven't we? At this point, have we seen all of the clues? If that's the case, then we've got a problem. False step. Teacher not about to waffle. teacher, not about, to waffle. If you waffle, you rabbit on, which would work with that. A teacher in the Jewish faith could be a rabbi, and then not about, turn it around, anagram or just upside down, N-O-T. So yeah, rabbit on feels good. In France, you read. What would the correct conjugation of you read? Je lis, probably. Je joue, tu. Oh, my French conjugation is not good. Il jouait. Tu vous liras. Lire. In France, you read. I mean, actually, just the word read would fit, wouldn't it? Could a Turiad be someone from Turin? If that was an R, what would that do here? Leo, for example, or a lady abroad. I don't like that. Or think of the Spanish senora. Leo would be a sign. Leo is a star sign. Or A, just written as they are. That could be the word for a lady abroad. A senora is Spanish, I think. Could signora be Italian? Maybe. I don't think I like this I down here. I like the thinking on this one to get me, SAS. A service. I think it's more likely to be like asin or something like that. I still think it's an A at the front because otherwise, what could it be? So ignoring the last letter, if I go with this, then I'm saying it's A, SAS revolution, A, SAS. If I go with that one, then that's saying that the SAS is a service, and we're going to evolve that. A service in asin. I do like the SAS being part of that. Although what else could it be? What other services are there with an A? With an S, sorry. Royal Navy, not the Army. It feels reasonable. Conventional. Mother bathing. So that could be Ma. Mother bathing, perhaps. So what would this be then? We've got all the crossing letters here, and we're fairly happy with that. In France, you. Or what about France, you would be two, and then in that we've got a word for read. Asa? What Italian cities could there be there with that? That feels like I'm not going to get that one. It's another city. Texas City, we're thinking for this one. Terrible ordeal. Al. Okay. Terrible ordeal. I can't remember what I said it was. Could be earlier. Trump golf course is all I remember. Okay. Odd seaman with girl. Odd seaman, could that be anagram of seaman and then girl? Odd seaman with girl on lake. Lakes could there be? As so if we did that, odd seaman, I mean, like that start outside of like amnesiac or something is very unusual, isn't it? So I don't think we're getting that. That doesn't feel sensible. That doesn't feel sensible. Nothing there feels sensible. Odd seaman. Agnes could be a girl's name. But what would that be? That would mean that odd seaman is our definition. That doesn't feel reasonable, does it? Cool building. A building. Could a building be an edifice? Journalist could be an editor, an ed. Provided could be synonymous with if. I think garden seat could be Great Danes, provided the anagram works. If the anagram works, for example, so if cold, ice, an edifice is certainly building related, isn't it? I always said it was more the facade of a building rather than the building itself, but and that works with sportive. I think I'm going to go with sportive. Odd seaman. A there's a shortened version of Seaman. AS, able seaman. I don't know, like Norma. No. Okay. Kind of looked into this. It's not AS for seaman. It's AB, which again does mean able seaman. Abnormal is odd. Seaman AB, girl Norma, lake can be abbreviated to L on like maps and cartography. So now there's only like 4 letters, 24 options. But what are those 24 options? So let's start playing around. I mean, I think we can agree that the O doesn't go there. The O there feels unpleasant. O, so O's in one of these last two probably. Ordeal. Laredo. That sounds like a place. I'm going with it. Let's I'm going with it. Let's take a look. What is Laredo? Laredo is a city in Texas. Okay, I feel justified. Sporty fits there now in 3 different places. Again, there's only limited things that can be without that. False step. Error made by journalists. With an E, an O and an R. Error made as an anagram or a false step. Feels slightly better. False step. Error made by journalists. There's no S, so journalists. If this does mean journalists, and this is plural, to pluralize will have to happen in a different way. Maybe using the D or the M. I can't help but feel I'm making a hard work of this, although we're getting there now, actually. A couple of those having gone in, we are getting there. False step. Error made by journalists. M. D. There's a lot of R's in there. So these feel like they've got to be consonants. We've only got 3, M, D or R. Demo at the start feels okay. Demerara? No, that's not how you spell Demerara. There's an E in the middle, isn't there? And more everything, more M's, I think. Error made. D-E-M-O. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh, got the R in there. I don't like it, but I can't see what it could be. Compassion, we hear. For male deer. Compassion, empathy. Sad. Sad and stag do not sound enough alike. Male deer. Stag. Buck. Buck. Stag. For male deer. It's only 4 letters, so you've got very limited. Stag. Stag. What could that be? Both stag and buck give us problems there. If we think it starts with an S or an A. A service revolution in parts of India. Ferry port gets rid of last. Ferry port. It could just be a 5-letter ferry port. You take the last letter off and get a bird, a bird's name. Gets rid of last. If we go back to Dover, for example. Oh, dove is a bird, isn't it? In my head, I was just taking the R off and instead of having Dover, having dove. But yeah, dove. So yeah. Oh. And we thought about Dover much earlier on in this as well. Conventional mother bathing. Perhaps. This no longer looks like it could be an anagram of bathing. Because the E causes problems, perhaps. Bathing, perhaps. What would bathing be an example of? Bathing is cleaning. It's bathing, bathing. Bathing, going to bath. Bathing. Clean yourself, you remove dirt. Conventional. If you bathe in something, you immerse yourself. Could the word mother be immersed? Or a word meaning mother be immersed in either the word for conventional or a word for perhaps? I don't think so, because there's no space for it. What words for mother are there? Ma, mum. All of those need at least 2 letters. The only place that works is either right at the end where we've got 2 or right at the start where we've already got an A. Conventional, standard, perhaps. Tuscan. It is the 2, and if you read something, you scan it. So an Italian is a Tuscan, someone from Tuscany. Okay. By hook or by crook, we're getting there. Conventional. Mother bathing. I don't think I'm saying it. A service revolution. Asin. Asai. The wordplay makes me happier about that than anything else. Sin SI. What else could a... Just going around in circles here. Alright, we'll give it 1 more minute, and then I think I'm going to take a... reveal a word and take an answer. We'll see how we do. A false step would be a mistake, would be an error. Error's already there. Error. What if instead of error made, the anagram folder is step error, and that is false, and we're looking for something that's made by journalists? Reporters. I think that's it. Yes, reporters. Well, we now know that that is not stag or buck. Male compassion we hear. Male deer. Tact is suddenly looking better, isn't it? Tact. Compassion we hear. But could a male deer be attacked? Male deer. And tact isn't really the same as compassion. Tact is... compassion. Compassion is understanding. It's compassion we hear for male deer. Right. I'm not going to reveal an answer, but I am going to look up. Is Asin a part of India? A municipality in Ghana. As in India does refer to a thing, but it's a person, so it's not really a part of India. Assai was the other one I was thinking of, wasn't it? As a part of India. Assai is a place, but it's not spelled like that in any way. A service revolution in part of India. Well, in part kind of makes you think it could be a hidden, but it's just, if we've got that S, there's just no space for it. A service revolution. I'm not seeing it. Right, let's reveal this one. Let's see what we get. Assam. A lot of my logic holds up, doesn't it? A for A, service resolution, SAS. No. It's not that sort of service. It's a church service, mass. I'm just going to put tact in there. Potentially that is some. We'll see. I think in a second. So what's this then? Mother bathing, perhaps. Ma. If mother is bathing, then Ma in steam. Ma in stream. Mainstream. Okay. There's one letter that we're still missing. So that's got to be this tact, doesn't it? Alright, I think I'm gonna admit defeat there. I do not know what that's going to be. Or at the very least, actually, let's check that it is that. Check puzzle. Yeah, it was that. Both letters are wrong. Alright, let's see what that one is then. Reveal puzzle. What was it? Heart. That feels like it was very gettable with retrospect. Now I have to say I did not know heart was a male deer. I thought a heart was I don't know what I thought. I thought it was a young deer maybe. I didn't think it was necessarily male. Let's have a look. Shall we have a look at that? Heart. The male of the deer. Yeah, feels reasonable then. Feels very reasonable. Okay, well, it takes away the time when you complete it. I think we did that in something like 55 minutes. So yeah, there were some tricky ones in there certainly. I feel like the two that we really struggled with, Heart and Assam, were more gettable than some of the others that we did. Ma in Stream, for example, I think was, well, I feel justified on not getting it for a while, but we got there in the end. But yeah, well, if there's a couple of places where I certainly could have done it quicker. If you feel like leaving a comment about how I definitely should have got Dove much earlier, then do so. And any other places where I really could have shaved a couple of minutes would be useful to know. But yeah, if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time back in the near future.